Immediately after search teams located little Isaac Sprague, they treated him to check if he was okay. Only feet away, his relieved family watched, near his wet clothes on the ground, and his grandpa couldn't contain his joy.
All the help we had, you just can't even imagine. Coleman, that is the roughest country you ever seen back there. I mean, you can't walk a straight line for 10 feet. And the fact that they got him, and then the fact that all his clothes are wet and that he was in the river is really amazing that they found him.
Michael Sprague told us he left the child in a van and checked on him every 20 minutes while he worked nearby. At about 11 on Thursday morning, he couldn't find him.
You just can't even comprehend the feeling when 1 minute somebody's there and you come back a few minutes later and they're gone, and no matter what you do, you can't find them.
For hours, Merced County deputies combed the area. Bloodhounds looked in the Merced River. A crew also searched for the child from the air. That's where they spotted some movement and alerted a dive team.
And as they got closer, they could see that he was laying in the water, and the water was up to here. The water was only about a foot deep, but he was laying back and he was moaning. Clearly he was affected by the cold water. Deputies
say Isaac is doing very well after what can only be described as a frightening ordeal.
I absolutely have joy that we found this young guy.
You just never think it's going to happen to you.
Police say the suspect, 23-year-old Joshua Lewis, was driving this white van Thursday evening. He may have been under the influence of drugs or alcohol when his van collided with a blue truck at Marks and Emerson. After that, Lewis made his way to Shaw and Polk. Police don't know why, but they say Lewis went out onto a busy Shaw Avenue with his gun and began firing at car after car. The driver of this blue van in critical condition after being shot in the stomach. The driver of this pickup truck, 65-year-old Nia Lee, shot dead. His wife shot in the arm.
He's a role model, a hero in our eyes, and even though this tragedy happened, he is survived.
For Medina's Tires and Wheels, Richard Mendez saw it all.
We were in here. I was at the counter, calling 911, looking over the counter, trying to make sure that if the guy did come, you know, what I could do.
Mendez says he saw the gunman shoot the hood of this SUV and threaten the driver. Police say the driver, a 20-year-old Fresno man, had his 5-year-old brother in the back seat. Police say the driver pulled his little brother out of the back seat, hugging the little boy to shield him from any bullets as he ran him to safety. Mendez says a tire shop employee led the young man to the back of the shop.
He told him to come back here, to run back here. This way he would be, you know, it's a little darker, somewhere for him to hide if the gunman did decide to come back.
Police say an off-duty corrections officer noticed what was going on. Mendez saw him approach the gunman. He told the gunman to freeze and get on the floor. Instead, the suspect tried to get into the car and the corrections officer fired.
I heard the corrections officer fire off 3 shots. So he was definitely hit, and it was basically point blank.
The suspect, Lewis, drove away in the young man's SUV. He got as far as 8 miles away before crashing into this ditch. He got out of the vehicle, eventually dying in this canal.
Huge drops pelted windshields as the first major rainstorm of the season swept through Central California. Crews are spread out all over the valley, repairing blown transformers and downed power lines. The Cristobal family believes lightning struck a power pole outside their apartment, giving them quite a light show.
We were just watching TV and suddenly the light just went off and we just heard like a really loud noise, and I looked outside and it was just bright sparkles that came from the light cord.
South of Garland.
Fresno police closed off 1 block in the area to keep people away from the live power line that was dangling in the street. The wet weather is being blamed for blowing out another transformer, this one over in Clovis, leaving an intersection without power, without traffic lights, without control.
Some people were obeying the rules of the road and making it a 4-way stop, but we had an unlicensed driver that didn't follow the rules, came to a partial stop, and went through the intersection, took out 2 other vehicles.
The area was hit heavy by rain. Autumn leaves likely blocked most of the storm drains, causing water to rise above the curbs. And about a mile up the road from there, another crash in Clovis. Several heavily damaged cars blocked off Herndon and Villa for a while Wednesday night. The storm may be moving out, but it's certainly leaving behind a string of damage. Emergency rooms right now are inundated with flu cases, so for the most part, kids are no longer allowed to visit patients at local hospitals, including here at St. Agnes. And health officials are warning very simple preventative action could save your life. Emergency rooms across the valley are filling up with severe flu cases. So Genevieve Cano walks around Adventist Medical Center in Hanford with her own protection. And I mean, here you are too with your own mask.
Well, because I go around people that are coughing and I say danger zone, you know. So it is very scary.
She fears catching the virus, especially after she's watched flu cases increase this past week, while she stays in the hospital with her husband, who's suffering from pneumonia. Sanitizing stations stocked with medical masks are set up all around the hospital.
But I have to say how very important it is to get that flu vaccine, first of all, because that will go a very long way to save your life.
Kathy Palusko is the director of infection prevention at the hospital. She says kids under 12 are not allowed as visitors right now, unless heading to the neonatal unit and only after passing a health screening. And if you show up ill and looking to visit, you will be turned away.
We also ask that people who are not ill, please do not come in. Please send your wishes either on a greeting card or make a phone call and tell people that you care.
Another big safety point often overlooked, cleaning commonly shared items.
Here I have my cell phone, I'm talking on it. We're very close to my mouth, right? And those germs can just be coming right out on it. Would you like to take this now and put it right next to your mouth? I don't think you would. So I would advise people not to do that. You know, you can wipe it down, wipe anything down that is shared like that.
Easy steps that Genevieve Cano hopes all of us follow.
Yeah, but some people ignore the science. They don't think it's going to happen. It will happen. People die from this.
Health officials are also saying people between their 20s and 50s are more frequently turning up with these severe flu cases in local hospitals. That's unusual. They say it may be happening because people in that age group tend to neglect getting a flu shot. Doctors, of course, still handing those out, and there are still flu clinics around the valley. You can find information you need about that online on our website and mobile apps. Reporting in Northeast Fresno, Rick Montanez, Action News, AM Live.
This is what dry brush looks and sounds like. This is the vegetation that firefighters usually deal with in the summer, but this winter, they're going to be dealing with thousands and thousands of acres just like it. Firefighters say the lack of rainfall this year worries them that wildfires could spread so quickly.